Good afternoon. My name is Jude Meyers, Superintendent of Gallia County Local Schools, and we'd like to welcome everybody to this broadcast of School Pride countywide. And today we're featuring two teachers with me that just completed a travel to Chicago, Illinois to the AP Forum, and it was an outstanding experience, and we want to share that experience and what it means to our kids here in our broadcast today. First and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Johnston, the University of Rio Grande, our broadcasting studio, and they've been very accommodating. Without them, we wouldn't be able to get our message out, and we really appreciate the opportunity to come here every month and to tell a little bit about our school and our story. Gallia County Local Schools is very unique. We have quite a few different options as we progress in this, in this century. We have digital options. We've also added a preschool option that we're very proud of that's rated 5-star across the state of Ohio. We've implemented Chromebook initiatives, and I know Ms. Gannaway is going to be talking a little bit about that and how that ties into her social studies curriculum and also into her capstone project. So we're really excited about the Chromebook and the technology component that our students have. Of course, we're very proud of our AP program and our College Credit Plus. And I know Ms. Graham is going to be talking a little bit about that partnership that we've developed with the University of Rio Grande using that rigorous AP curriculum. And now we're able to offer students the opportunity to take AP courses for college credit as well as the University of Rio Grande's college credit. And again, this has been the work from our staff members, from our teachers that have worked hard with professors and Dr. Sachs here at the University of Rio Grande in order to bring these opportunities to our kids. We offer many programs in our district. We obviously value the arts. We're focusing right now on the Arts Festival and student celebration that we usually have in the spring in coordination with the French Art Colony and the library downtown. We're proud of our athletics. Just the other night, our South Gallia band attended the board meeting to play their alma mater and showcase their new crest. So we always value that opportunity for our kids to participate and become active. Our choirs are phenomenal. Of course, we're very proud of the rigor that we've demonstrated in our curriculum, and it's that rigor is the reason we're here today to talk about what we're doing and what we're going to be doing as Ms. Gannaway talks about the future of capstone and research in our district. And again, I think the important thing in Gallia County Local Schools, we value participation. We know that our kids a lot of times come from families that can't afford opportunities. So if they're in the AP program, the district does cover the cost of those tests. If they're in activities such as band, choir, sports, and things, there are no participation fees. We want to make sure our kids have that opportunity to participate because we value what that adds to the academic curriculum that they experience during the day. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest this morning, or this afternoon I should say. Directly to my right is Miss Cindy Graham. Have had the opportunity to work with her over the 4 years I've been here. An outstanding teacher, and she's going to tell a little bit about herself.
Well, I've been with the district for over 30 years, and I have taught all grades, 7 through 12, and I am currently, and have been for 25 years, the Language Arts Department Chair. So that kind of sums it up, and then we'll talk a little bit more about AP and all the things that come with that.
And to my far right, somebody that I'm getting to know a lot better as the year progresses, and we had the opportunity to spend some time on the Chicago trip and exploring the AP curriculum, but Ms. Gannaway, who does an outstanding job with our social studies program and is becoming quite the leader as far as our capstone project and with some intentions to take that program to another level. So Ms. Gannaway, if you could kind of share some information about yourself.
Like Mr. Myers said, I'm Andrea Gannaway, and I've been with the district for 15 years. About 8 of those actually a teacher in my own classroom. I subbed for several years before that. And I've been at the high school and at the middle school, but I've been in my current position for 5 years. This is my 5th year with capstone, and I also teach government.
So we're going to take you on a journey, and this journey started several years ago. We've told this story before. Myself, our curriculum director, Rochelle Halley, and Mrs. Graham, we journeyed to a conference in Chicago to talk about our AP curriculum.
Right.
And when we got there, the conversations were can we do this here in the district? What opportunities we have, what can we explore? Lo and behold, a couple of years later, Gallia County Local Schools not only made the AP Honor Roll, and I want to brag about that. When we say make the AP Honor Roll, AP is an international recognition. The Advanced Placement Program is represented across the United States and Canada. It's an international program, and we were only one of only 400 districts nationwide that were able to have that distinction.
Yes.
And this comes from the work of teachers like Mrs. Graham and her colleagues, both at River Valley and South Gallia, that have put in the legwork to make this happen. So, lo and behold, we were selected to present basically from an Appalachian perspective on Diamonds in the Rough in Chicago. So we were actually able to present at the AP conference that had people coming from the states, from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, you name it. And I do want to say this because I think this was the proudest thing. If you've ever been to a conference and have seen a presentation, generally, if you're given the slot before lunch, which we had, people are leaving because they're hungry. And in this case, when Cindy wrapped up the presentation for our team, nobody left. People stayed in the room and then continued to stay in the room and ask questions. And so I think the biggest compliment to the team was that they were able to capture the moment with the group that was there, and people were engaged. And from my understanding, they're being considered to present on the national level in Dallas this summer. So I'm very proud of our group and our team and what they've been able to accomplish, but just a really neat experience. And I'm going to kind of turn it over to Ms. Graham to talk a little bit about the Chicago trip, its relevance, and why it was important from a teaching perspective.
To start into this, you really it's such a broad topic, and it's so wide that I'm going to hone in on the fact that, and I did this in a description for something else that we're applying for, and that is that we are considered a little podunk region that can't bring something to the table, but we did. And we were selected because we were saying that what we offered could be applied to inner city schools and other minority areas. And they certainly did buy into it. They took pictures of our slides, they came and talked to us about how we made things work. And I think that all of that is driven because we have stayed economically efficient with this. We realized as a district from the top down that we could service our kids by fostering partnerships and unashamedly doing that. And I think you would agree with me that that partnering started when we went in 2016 to this same forum.
Absolutely.
We realized that the networking was extensive and that we could buy into it. And we had no shame. We asked questions.
And one of the interesting partnerships is that this presentation partnered not only with AP, I guess you could call them advisors, so to speak.
Consultants.
But we also partnered with Mock Trial
Yes.
and the relationship with Ryan Susky. And if you could talk about those partnerships, because I think, again, it goes to show, just like our partnership with the University of Rio Grande and the opportunity we have here today, we don't do things alone. We have to do things in partnership. So if you wanted to elaborate on that.
I think that one of the descriptor words that would go with your style of management and that has now transcended central office is collaborative. You like to collaborate, you like to bring in people. So partnering with other entities is a natural process for that kind of managerial style. So when we partnered with our AP consults who came in from South Carolina, Arkansas, and then Ryan Susky came from the Ohio Center for Law-Related Education, they came on their own dimes. The district did not pay for that. They knew how important this was to come, and what a feather in the cap it was for Mock Trial and Ohio Center for Law-Related Education and the AP consults. So that in itself gave us an idea about how important it is to participate in the Midwestern Forum, because they would not have done that had it not been something that was worthwhile. So that says something. And when we talk about Ryan Susky is an attorney and a teacher. He's been trained in both areas, and he works as the Professional Development Coordinator for the Ohio Center for Law-Related Education, and he's directly involved with the coordination of the sites for mock trial. So that's a little bit of his background. Ryan is a wealth of knowledge in application of the curriculum that the center offers. And I think people aren't aware of that. We became aware of that because we unashamedly ask for anything. And when you asked Ryan, he's such a professional that he opened up not just mock trial, but now we're looking at other curriculum that is available for lower grades. So now we're aligning and scaffolding through a partnership with the Ohio Center for Law-Related Education. That's crazy. Who knew that?
And it was really amazing to see their participation
Right.
in it, and their praise for the district as they became a part of that presentation that day.
Oh, we are a model. Ryan took us as a model because in order to get to that objective form of writing that AP so values and that collegiate writing values as well, we found out that mock trial had already developed a curriculum, so why reinvent the wheel? And we could apply that lawyer-like tactic to writing and looking from a different perspective, that objectivity that we needed from our kids instead of subjectivity. So here it sits, and we just took it and plugged it in, and it works.
And it's working well.
Oh, it's working very well.
And I'm going to skip a little bit and we're going to revisit our Chicago experience, but I want to talk to Andrea about her Chicago experience because it was her first trip to Chicago, and her main interest in this was having an opportunity to explore the capstone project. And I want you to kind of explain what capstone is, and then how lucky or fortunate we were to be at a presentation where the coordinator of AP Midwest region happened to be right there presenting, came to our table, and worked with us to help us develop our program. So if you want to kind of give an overview of the capstone, and then maybe a little bit about where it's going with the research piece.
Well, I'm excited to be a part of this AP, I don't know, phenomenon is what it feels like, honestly. I mean, because I taught capstone, up until this point, there was no AP version up until recently.
And that's nationally.
Nationally,
not just in Gallia County,
not just here, but there was no AP option that, especially since we weren't aware of. And once we found out that AP was offered in capstone, and that's what I taught, then I absolutely wanted to be a part of the AP Forum. Not only just to support my colleagues presenting in Chicago and gaining the experience with AP, but just also learning my possibilities in capstone and how that I can provide the AP option to our students as well. Because I've been watching them do AP, and I couldn't really get in it. We already had an AP teacher for government, and she's fantastic, and I do general government, but there was really nothing for capstone.
Right.
And when I found out there was, I'm excited. So we were able to attend just a particular presentation about it, and it was really eye-opening.
So we're sitting at the table.
Yes.
And Andrea is sitting next to me, and she says, like, that's the guy that's in charge of AP capstone?
Yep.
And Rochelle Halley, our curriculum coordinator, said, we've got to get him to come to our table.
Yep.
And if you know the people at our table, we had no problem getting them to come over and entertain a conversation.
Him
with
not
us.
coming over was not an option. He was coming.
Absolutely. We were going to get our money's worth. And
Absolutely.
And if you can tell, as a result of that conversation, what did you find out, and where do you see AP capstone going?
First of all, I was overwhelmed with all the information at first because, I'm trying to place how this is going to work in my classroom, but the gentleman over AP capstone was so down to earth and so open and welcoming, and I really appreciated that because it is intimidating. AP is intimidating, and it provides rigor. It's not only rigorous for the students, but it's rigorous for the teachers because we have to open ourselves up to learn what we need to do to provide that instruction to our kids. And so I felt he was really warm and welcoming, and we actually they offer a workshop over the summer, a training to learn about AP capstone, to which me and another colleague, and I think Rochelle's going to go as well, and South Gallia is going as well, talk to us about the training that they offer to make us officially qualified to teach AP. And so allowing us to register for that workshop this summer makes it real.
And one of the interesting things about that conversation, we are located in Appalachia, in southeastern Ohio, which is a high poverty area. And as the result of that conversation, he informed us that because of our economic status, that our teachers would be able to be scholarshiped in order to attend the training and cover the cost of that week of instruction in Baltimore this summer.
That's right.
Which is very close to Washington, D.C. as well.
Which, yeah, we did not know a scholarship existed, so I'm glad that he mentioned that to us because, I mean, it is expensive to attend trainings, I mean, as it should be, and I'm
And I think that's one thing in my position when we do some of these things. I think as people and community members understand, we are trying to be cost effective. We are trying to find ways to cover these things. And then when you network with people that know a little bit more about it than you find out that there's opportunities out there that you may not have known existed. And in this case now, we're going to be able to get several of our staff members trained through the scholarship and take this AP capstone to another level. And
I also hope, you know, our community understands is that when they see your teachers wanting to learn more about their craft, and even though we're always traveling or going somewhere, it's because we are passionate about what we do, and we want to get outside our Appalachian region and learn all that we can so we can bring that back to the classroom, and it matters. And
Andrea, I should probably mention, and Cindy as well, this conference was on a weekend. We were there Saturday.
A 3-day weekend.
A 3-day weekend, that's
Sunday,
right.
and Monday was a holiday, which was a school
weekend.
holiday. And so these people gave up of their time to attend this conference on I guess you could say, a scheduled day off, so to speak, because it was that important to them. So we didn't have to miss school time in order to attend, which I think is really important as well. And then when teachers do these trainings in the summer, obviously they're given of their time in order to be able to do that.
And it's 5 days. It's 5 days training.
All day long.
All day long. And it is intense and it is rigorous in itself. And the other piece before we forget is what came through this AP forum, even more for me than the last one, was the constant repetition of a theme of serving the underserved student, that they want every student to have access to that upper level thinking. And that impressed me because of the area in which we live.
The term access and equity was repeated as the theme throughout that entire conference.
Throughout the entire conference, right, right.
So as you look at capstone, and then the next step to that would be research, what did you find out about that if we continue to grow that capstone project?
Well, from what I understand, and of course, you know, I've got more to learn, starting with training this summer, that capstone gets divided into 2 years, your junior and senior year. You take seminar the first year, and then you take research the second year. They both go together, and it just allows that upper level research options for those kids who are into that type of well, for lack of a better word, researching. I mean, I have a few right now that I just think to myself, wow, you fit the bill. You're already at your 18 pages for your capstone project right now on your research paper, and your research is phenomenal. I wish that we had to offer, but you know, this is new to us, and I'm excited. I'm already kind of looking how I could possibly implement this. But the training will also take place that we have to do it 2 summers back to back. So I have to take the seminar training this summer. So for a full week this summer, I'll go and train for seminar. And then next summer, I will train for a full week in research. Wow. So that they don't like you to do it back to back. They want you to
take a breath.
Because it's so much. Take seminar your first year, try to implement that, and then bring in the research. So this is a 2-year process, just learning how it's going to work. And I'm excited to learn about it.
And what we're hearing from people that have implemented the research, that the benefit to kids is phenomenal. And that it's opening doors, it's preparing them for life skills, for the job world and things. They're getting opportunities to do things that other kids normally don't get to do, and it's preparing them for the next level. And I said it's opened up scholarships and opportunities to go, to travel, to get jobs and things. So it's pretty exciting when we look at that.
Well, they mentioned, when the speakers were talking, they mentioned that many of the kids who take the capstone project take that with them for interviews at Ivy League schools because it's so impressive that they have finished that. You know, Gallia County was even ahead then because we started the senior seminar project
7 years ago.
well, and actually unofficially in 2001. So we've been tweaking, and it's not going to be a far slide for Andrea to take it over there. So that's the beautiful part, nor at South Gallia, because our brothers and sisters down in South Gallia are doing the same thing. So it's just a slow slide over.
And that is something that I picked up on when we described what we were doing in Capstone and Gallia County Local Schools. The director of the AP Capstone said, well, it sounds like you have most of those key pieces already embedded. So that was reassuring too, because
it's just going to be reorganizing.
It's going to be reorganizing, and so that was also a relief because it also validated what we do.
That hasn't been exactly painless as we put this in place.
I mean, I think when I first started teaching Capstone, people couldn't find the value in it, and it was a fight as to, you know, this rigorous project, what's it going to do for me, and students not understanding. And I really feel like over this last 5 years, that's one thing that, I mean, I don't want to say because it's not it's the entire building, it's the staff, it's the atmosphere, it's the administration, all the way. I mean, it's a community. As a collaborative effort, we have all been able to show how this works, not only relevant to you now, but it'll be relevant to you in the future. And I don't have a whole lot of that backlash now, to the point where I know kids will sign up for AP because they're less afraid of the rigor now, because they're seeing it everywhere they turn. I mean, like she said, cross-curricular, scaffolding, grade level, they're seeing the rigorous options at every stage, and now they're less afraid, which is more than half the battle when these kids leave us.
And here we are in 2018. The state of Ohio has made that an alternative path to graduation.
Right.
Another validation.
Another validation, and the importance now of being recognized by AP and promoted nationwide, and the importance of what that brings. So really exciting times ahead. I'm excited for you, and I know just from spending that time with you in Chicago, how excited you are to bring those opportunities back to our kids. And I'm really anxious to watch it unfold as it happens. And I don't think our kids or community have any idea what good is out there on the horizon as we get there. So, and Cindy, then in the last few minutes here, we've got a few more minutes left. If you can just kind of highlight what the Chicago presentation covered and who was involved in that. I know we got about 3 minutes left, and I think it's really important to recognize, what did we do in Chicago at that presentation?
Well, it was a coordination of 8 presenters, and each presenter had 5 minutes. Now, when you have people who are
I was the
vested,
timekeeper.
I made Andrea be the timekeeper because I knew that we would have trouble with that.
And I failed.
Yeah, because she got caught up in it.
Well, not only that, they were not listening.
Yeah, they were listening, you're right. But each one of those presenters presented a different aspect. And, you know, I opened it up with just an overview. And then Aaron took it because we actually researched. You know, we used books like Dreamland and Hillbilly Elegy, and what was the third one? The Glass Castle. And these are all books that take different perspectives about Appalachia, because even though we live here, we wanted to look at ourselves through different lenses. So he gave us the research aspect, and then we went to Bree, who brought in her perspective from a government teacher and how she had to work with that. And then we had Stephanie, who's actually pre-AP, or will be, and she was presenting, how do I take what they're offering at the AP level and bring it down into the freshman classroom for honors and general classes. And then we went to Ryan, and we went to Rachel, who's the AP consult, and her partner James Garner, and how they contributed to this whole process, because Rachel and James came in and gave us suggestions about upping the rigor within our AP. And then, of course, Ryan plugged in that all-important piece of rigor that comes from the Ohio Center for Law-Related Education.
You can tell from their conversations how much passion they have to bring this to our students.
Oh, we're education nerds, yeah.
And it's exciting to work in partnership with this group, and it has been very exciting. And I need to mention, in the short time, that partnership has led to a nice development with the University of Rio Grande. And can you briefly just share what
Sure.
that has done?
Sure. When we became involved in AP, then we knew that there was a rigor that Rio Grande could identify. We were offering rigorous courses. And you and I have had this conversation. When a school offers honors, that interpretation of what's honors level can vary from school to school. But when you say that your syllabus has been approved by AP, now you're at an international standard. So Rio Grande was much more comfortable knowing that we were doing that. And because of that, now we have 5 courses that we are offering with dual credit. And that's amazing. And then as Andrea was talking, this is another piece that just affirms what we're doing. Organically at the senior year, when she's offering research in AP, that is the year that we offer Comp 2, which has to do with research writing and all that kind of stuff. So it's just going to continue to parallel and do what needs to be done for successful work in research.
So we're very excited, and,
Oh, yeah.
and you can see their passion. This is Jude Meyers, Superintendent, School Pride, countywide. Very proud of our staff, and thank you for tuning in.